if you want to retire early, I want you to consider stopping saving for retirement. Now that sounds really weird. I get it coming from a financial advisor, but I actually want you to consider not adding any more money to retirement. People go, wait a second, aren't you an advisor? Don't you tell people to save and invest more? I go, yeah, to a point, and then I don't want you to. I want you to think about opportunity cost. Any additional day you work is day you are not prioritizing your health or time with family or you name it. So I want you to think about it in the same way when adding new dollars. Anytime you add new dollars to your retirement, those dollars could be doing something else for you. So early on, I want you to add dollars to your retirement because it can be really helpful. When you're later in your career, adding new dollars is not nearly as important as investing the right way. So I'm going to go through this example today so you can see exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Now, I am Taublieb, host of the Early Retirement Podcast, vice president here at Root Financial Partners. You can see it right there, as well as a certified financial planner. So let's hop right in. Most people understand the opportunity cost of a good investment. They'll say, I wish I invested in Apple or Amazon or Netflix. It's easy to say that. What most people don't think about is opportunity cost in the sense of their time. So why am I obsessed with an early retirement? Because I do not want you to work a year longer than you need to. Because good luck quantifying the impact of your health when you don't have to work as hard at work, because now you can actually focus on what's most important to you. You can't. You cannot quantify that on a spreadsheet. So part of my job is telling my clients, you've saved and invested really well. I don't want you to add new dollars. And they go, wait a second, that just sounds weird. I've always maxed out my 401k. And if you still have the cash flow to max out your 401k, I want you to do it, but I don't want you to sacrifice lifestyle today. I see too much of that. I see too many people come to me. They have saved and invested so well. They have $2, $3, $4, $5, $10 million, and they're still adding new dollars to their retirement. And they're going, well, I want to optimize. I go, I want you to optimize. I love optimizing. That's my middle name. At the same time, I do not want you to look back and go, why'd I work so hard, put so many hours in, and keep working when I didn't love what I did? Just for this concept that I need 6 more months. 6 more months, I'm going to stop. 1 more year, I'm going to stop working. And they keep moving the goalposts back. And I see it so common. I want you to know, and I'm not telling you you get to stop saving. I'm in no business of rosy pictures. I'm telling you, have a plan that tells you how much longer you actually do need to work. So here's an example. Let's assume that you've got $1 million, okay? Some people come to me, and you're going to laugh at some of these stories, but some people come to me, they've got $1 million and they want to retire early. I say, great, how much do you want to spend? Social Security, rental income, pension, the whole wazoo. Great. So we talk about it. We understand their goals, how long they want to work. Let's get into it. So they've got $1 million and they tell me that they need to max out their 401k every single year in order to be okay. I say, what if you stop? What if you stop right now and get average 10% growth? And they go, I don't want to rely on 10%. I say, okay, what about 8%? They say, great. So 8% average growth, not every single year, but average. I say, how much would that be? They go, well, $1 million, 8%, that's about $80,000. I go, it's exactly that. They say, what's your point, Ari? And I say, my point is the following. What's the max that you can put in a 401k? They say, well, I think with the catch up for 2024, it's $30,500. I go, that's right. So for 2023, the most that you can put in, depending on when you watch this video, 2023, the most you can put in to get the full match is $30,000. Now, $30,500 is the most if you're over age 50 and you're trying to get that 401k maximum. So people go, what's your point? I go, the point is you cannot essentially out-save a good investment. If you put the maximum, $30,500 that the government will let you put in, that's not going to be $80,000. It is the opposite when you're early on in your career. So some clients come to me, and a lot of you already know this joke I'm going to say, but some people come to me and they'll say, Ari, I want you to talk to my kid about investing. I like the way you talk about money. I'm like, okay. So I talk to them and the kid will come to me and they want me to, help them set up Bitcoin or Ethereum in their 401k. And you know what I tell them? I say, shut up. And the client's loving it. Okay. Now I don't say it that mean, unless the client I can tell will love it. And then I will say it just like that. I'll say, shut up. And they're like, oh my God, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I say, I want you to max out your 401k. Don't worry about the return. Okay. So if you have $1,000 in your 401k and you get 10%, you made $100. Good luck trying to beat that with saving $20,000 in your 401k as an example, okay? They need to max out their 401k and not worry about returns. Now, older people that are coming to me who really aren't old, but in their 50s, and they're going, I want this income for the next 40 plus years, you guys need to stop saving as much to your retirement because most of you that are coming to me are oversaved. Most of you that are in the world are undersaved, and that's just looking at the statistics here. Most people are undersaved going into retirement based on what they want to spend, and I don't want you to retire early and second guess going out to eat or taking a big trip. That would defeat the purpose of all of this. I want you to retire early with confidence and do everything you want to do, okay? So saving for retirement, I don't love the idea of you maxing out your 401k. But I do love the idea of you taking any extra cash flow in the years up to your retirement, so call it 3, 4, 5 years up until your retirement, even 1 or 2 years, up to 5 years before you retire. To make it super simple, I need you doing 2 things for me, okay? Number 1, please take care of the big expenses, home improvements, remodels, big trips with family that you want to do, medical expenses. I don't want to have to send you additional income the day you retire for medical expenses, and then if markets don't do well, now all of a sudden we're in a tough spot. So I want you to tackle as much as you can the big expenses 5 years before retirement. And if you don't have big expenses, I need you putting those money in a brokerage account. I need you putting those funds into that taxable account, that joint account, that brokerage account, whatever you want to call it. They all mean the same thing. The government just makes it confusing. It's an account that I call the superhero account because that account helps you bridge the gap. And here's my favorite example. So you've probably heard of house rich, cash poor before. That's where you have a high net worth, but it's not that valuable. Okay, that's my parents, okay? My parents live in Malibu, California, very wealthy area, as most of you know. However, they're still working in their 70s. They are house rich, they refuse to leave their home, but they're cash poor, don't have a lot of retirement assets. Then there's other people, and other people are coming to me, and my parents are the best, okay? So I'm not picking on them. They actually say, Ari, use us as an example, okay? They want me to. Then other people come to me, and they're qualified rich, cash poor. Sad situation. Now, you're not going to say it's sad, okay? But I'm just telling you how they told me. So they came to me, and they had $6 million in a 401k. You go, that doesn't sound too sad. I go, it's not. But they were coming to me at 53, and they hated what they did, and they wanted to retire the next day. Well, they couldn't, unless they wanted to pay a 10% penalty and ordinary income taxes on their 401k, which they didn't want to do. Sunk cost effect. They've added too many dollars. They refuse to pay the penalty, even though they can meet their goals, okay? Emotions play a big role in financial planning. The purpose of the story, I don't want you qualified rich, cash poor. I tell my clients, I don't want you to max out your 401k. They're like, I don't understand. I max out my 401k for 30 years. I get a deduction. Why are you telling me not to do this? Why are you so weird? I'll say, I'm being weird here because if you want to retire early, you need to bridge that gap. And that superhero account is going to let that happen. So yeah, you're giving up a deduction, but you're doing that so you can retire 2 years earlier, do more of what you want to do. So consider a brokerage account if you don't already have one, because that's going to allow you to bridge the gap. So if you want to retire at 53, going, how am I going to do this? You can look into the rule of 55 and 72T and all this fancy stuff out there. But I prefer a brokerage account because it keeps things simple and allows you to implement amazing tax planning. My issue with things like the rule of 55 or 72T distributions or conversion ladders and all this fancy stuff that people love when they see a video on it is quite simply, it does not allow you to do tax planning. So let's assume you use the rule of 55. What is that? Okay. The rule of 55 is saying if you're still working at your employer in the year you turn 55 or later, you can use your 401k. And you're like, that sounds wrong. I think I have to wait till 59 and a half. Everything has told me 59 and a half. And that's true in an IRA, not in a 401k. So assuming you're with that company, you can, if you have $1 million and you're 55, you can retire and start pulling from it. You still pay ordinary income taxes, you just don't pay the penalty. So the whole premise is people go, I beat the system, I can pull from it. I go, you didn't beat anything. In fact, you kind of got screwed over a little bit because they were making you think you can pull from it when in reality, when you take it out, you're paying taxes on it. So it's not a bad thing. You got a deduction up front, now you're paying taxes on it. The bad news is you can't do great strategic tax planning because you have income. Your 401k is sending you income. So how are you going to do amazing Roth conversions if your income's up here? Okay, it makes it really hard. So I prefer a brokerage account, even if it's for 1 or 2 years, to help bridge that gap. It makes the difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars. So hopefully this was helpful as you guys are thinking through when should I stop saving. The reality is once you're in a great spot, and you understand how compound growth works and you're planning and you have a clear sense of what are your expenses, what do you want to do, when do you want to retire, once you're clear on those, you go, wow, you don't have to be crystal clear. Like I have a cash flow planner that's going to help you determine those expenses. Go into my description of this video, you're going to see it. I want to make sure that you're not retiring, longer than needed, okay? Make sure that you are working and you're working in a way that makes you enjoy life and you are prioritizing going on trips and doing fun things today without simply saying, I'm going to be in an awesome spot later in life. I'll worry about taxes then. I'll worry about saving then. Don't just max out your 401k because it's what you know. I want you to take a step back and truly go, wait, what am I doing? Like, what's the point of this? And then you go, yeah, am I just saving more dollars because I'm an innate saver? And am I saving them to the right account? Should it go to a brokerage account? Should it go to extra savings? Should it go to a potential home that I'm going to move to? These are things I want you to think about when it comes to your plan. plan. So yeah, there are instances I tell people, I want you to stop saving for retirement. And it sounds weird, but it's the truth. I want to make sure that you are optimizing your plan. And sometimes optimizing your plan is not giving you the financial answer of save and invest more. Okay, so here's the dopey joke I leave you with. The dopey joke is I had a client come to me a few months ago. They said, Ari, I'm going to be one of your best clients. I said, why? They said, I have a super low withdrawal rate because I have millions of dollars. I'm going to be one of your best clients. And I don't have to take that much out of my portfolio, so it's going to keep growing like crazy. I said, you'll be one of my worst clients. Like, what do you mean? I thought a low withdrawal rate was good. Doesn't that mean it's going to be safe? I go, oh yeah, it's really good financially. But if you want to have the best withdrawal rate, go work 20 more years. Your withdrawal rate will be amazing. It's going to be very low, okay? Also, don't spend any money and don't have any fun. Your withdrawal rate is perfect, okay? Plan looking good. That's not why we're doing this. I want to make sure that you're living an awesome life, not just have a great financial plan. So your graph might look like this, but your finances might look like this also, and then your life looks like this because you're not enjoying it, and then you're going to be at your grave, and you don't get any extra points for dying as the richest one. So I want to make sure that you are, of course, taking advantage of your legacy goals, and you're making sure if you want to leave assets to kids, you're doing so, but if you don't, then don't. Like, make sure you know how much you need to spend. And that's a weird concept. Don't just go spend frivolously, but make sure that you're being wise about the way you are spending based on how markets are moving and everything I talk about. So the dopey joke is I want you to have the highest withdrawal rate without running out of money, not the lowest withdrawal rate. If this video was helpful and you want a custom strategy and to work with people just like me at my firm, I love helping people like you create a custom strategy to retire early. When anyone is considering an early retirement, I walk them through my planning process so you can see, we call it the Sequoia process, how we tackle every aspect of your financial life. Every aspect from health insurance to withdrawal strategy, to tax planning, to insurance, to estate planning, all of that is covered in our process. So if you're looking for a true holistic strategy, it's what we do. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.